What are you drinking?
Lager and lime
Yeah.
because I
Does that
am
technically
feeling
classify
fancy
as a
today.
shandy?
Sorry?
Does that technically classify as a shandy, or does it need lemonade?
No, it need lemonade because you're not really weakening the beer. You're just flavoring it.
I don't really drink, but I do like shandy. Like,
Oh, I love a shandy.
yeah.
Fucking love a shandy. It's a happy time drink.
What's a lager top?
Lager with just a little bit of lemonade in it.
Yeah, see, yeah, I don't like that. I like a full on, like, I'd rather have like three quarters lemonade. I don't give a shit.
Mm.
I don't like lager or beer anyway. I think it tastes like fucking rat piss.
I'm a beer fan more than a lager fan, but I don't know why. Just today, I thought, you know what, lager and lime would be quite nice.
Takes the edge off it, doesn't it? Gives it a bit of
Yeah,
crisp as well, a bit more refreshing. If I
yeah.
do drink, it's normally a cocktail and it's normally something Latin like a mojito. I don't like really high end sweet cocktails either. Like pina colada is just a nah, get in the bin.
We had a mojito when for Colosseum, didn't we?
Yeah, I had the non-alcoholic one.
Did you?
I had a mocktail.
I did not know that. So it was just me who was drunk at the show then.
You only had like one.
Yeah, I know, but I also
You're
hadn't eaten
lightweight.
much.
Should
I
we
was
get?
just over giddy.
Should
I
we?
was
Should we
over
try out
giddy.
an intro? Like, I mean, this will all be in anyway, but
Yeah. Well, it's your turn. You're supposed to
it's
be
always my
headlining.
bloody turn.
Go on then.
Been a long time since. Come on, then. Don't you fucking egg me on, Mister Radio. Fucking jizz in your eye in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Silent and the Death Machine podcast. I'm Silent. He's the Death Machine. Wait, no, I'm the Death Machine. He's Silent.
I am hard as fuck,
He is hard as fuck. Look at
and I
him.
have a beautiful big beard.
What a tank. Do you know what? I've shaved it all down. Like
Well,
it
that's
used
good.
to, it was right down here, and I showed. Yeah, but then I went to Colosseum on Saturday, and
Mm.
then one of the referees had this huge, glorious beard. Fucking handsome fucker he was. And then I had beard envy,
I
but I
can't.
only
I
have
can't grow a
myself to
beard.
blame. I only have myself to blame.
This is this is the
How's
most
your week
beard.
going, by the way?
Eh, eh. It's work. Work's
Is it
work.
still
Work
the
shit.
same as last week?
Yeah, work shit. Not as bad as last week,
I was going
which
to
is
say
always a positive.
this is like the third podcast in a row where work has kind of got you down a little bit. Do you not feel like at this point that maybe? And by the way, I'm not drinking wine. This is raspberry lemonade because I'm a puff. That'll probably get me in trouble as well.
Well,
Technically I am.
technically you are though, so you can
Yeah,
say it.
exactly. So
It's fine.
exactly. Technically I'm white.
Yeah,
Hmm,
you've said it this time.
exactly. Yeah, no. Is there any kind of inkling or inclination to maybe switch jobs, or is it just the comfort thing is too strong there?
Um, Getting out of the business. I've got a house and kids. I need a job. Um,
Responsibilities over, personal
yeah,
choice.
yeah. But I do have there are opportunities coming up which would be quite good for me to change what I do within the place that I work. So it'll hopefully, as long as it comes out right, it should be fine. But I think no, this week has just been the tedium of work rather than people being shit, which is always a positive.
I
How's
think
your
that's
week
what.
been?
Yeah, not bad. Colosseum was good. I'm still ill. Still got this really bad chest infection. Which, as you can imagine, made for a lot of fun when you're doing 3 hours of commentary for wrestling.
Have you taken any antibiotics?
I'm just taking like the basic stuff, the strepsils, the Lemsip, all that kind of stuff at the moment.
Go to the fucking doctor and get some antibiotics, you massive bellend.
So first of all, statistically correct, and second of all, like, yeah, no, I don't know, it keeps fluctuating between head cold to chest, head cold to chest. Keeps bouncing around. I assuming it's just the guy, but also you say that, but then it's our own NHS that are saying don't overwhelm us by coming in for colds and things like that. Go and see a fucking pharmacist.
You'll go and see a pharmacist then, say I've got a chest infection and see what they do.
Fair enough.
Just go and see somebody.
Go and see somebody. All right, I'll go and see. I don't know, Cara Delevingne.
Why
She's
not?
beautiful, by the way.
I don't know. I don't. She's for me. She's in the same camp as someone like Megan Fox.
That's a good
It's like
camp to be
yeah,
in.
yeah. It's like yeah, you're attractive, but I think that's about it.
Yeah, but see, Megan Fox, like, no doubt, stunningly hot. But then I see her with Machine Gun Kelly, and I think, okay, and I'm sure he's got a personality of some sort, but he just looks like a prize bell end.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
You know, like somebody who wasn't loved enough by mummy and daddy, so he needs to act out at all possible opportunities.
Disagree. Disagree on that. He was a trust fund child, and he just had too much money.
Yeah, but that doesn't
For it
necessarily
to...
equate to love, though, does it?
No, but his parents just gave him anything that he wanted, thinking that that was love. They didn't. This is just my thoughts anyway. I don't know if that was true. But I don't think that they didn't love him and didn't show him affection. I think the way he is now is just him rebelling, in inverted commas, but it's him rebelling comfortably. You know, he's not.
There is no such thing as a comfortable rebellion.
Well, no, there is, because when you look at someone like him or Paris Hilton or someone like that, they have gone against what their parents thought that they would do. But they're still in fucking mansions and they've still got shit tons of money and they don't have to do anything
No,
weird.
it's not a rebellion, though, is it? It's not.
Well, it's kind of, look, it's Miley Cyrus, exactly the same. You know,
Oh, see, Miley Cyrus is fucking hot.
she's a twat.
I think that makes her hotter to me.
Now, all I see when I look at her is just
Oh,
a bell end.
I think she's awesome. I love Miley Cyrus.
But yeah,
dog.
even her,
Yeah.
you know, she rebelled against Disney. She rebelled against her parents, but she did it all in the comfort of being rich and famous and not having to really go out on your own. You've gone out on your own with a house already bought for you and a career that you've already sorted out that you can step into as and when you want to.
I don't know. I think it's very sort of. It seems to be like, especially in Britain, I've noticed much more so than even like America or any other Western societies. We tend to just naturally kind of hate success. I've noticed. They, like for instance, David Beckham. Do you know how much grief he used to give the poor bastard all the time?
I've always respected him. I've always liked him. For me, it's never been about success because I like success. You know, I'm never that one that stops liking a band because they become successful.
Yeah, but you're in the minority, I think, especially in this country.
I might be. I don't give a shit.
I mean, look at it's perpetuated by the media, obviously, which doesn't help matters.
Yeah,
because
I look at someone, their actions and their personality as to whether I think they're a shit or not. I don't give a shit if they're successful. You know?
It's like I don't remember David Beckham ever doing anything bad. You know, like
I
don't
one
remember
thing that was bad, and that was getting sent off against Argentina.
Yeah,
the only thing that he did that was bad
in a game of football in a tournament that we would never have won anyway. Other than that, and people were burning effigies of him after that.
Yeah, it's because people are cunts.
Yeah,
but no, I look at someone like fucking Henry Cavill, or Henry Cavill, however you pronounce his surname. I think he's fucking amazing. I absolutely adore the man. And again, massively successful, but successful with a good heart. And I think that's where it matters. If you've got a good heart, I don't give a shit how fucking successful you are. I'll be behind you. If you don't have a good heart, you're a bellend, and I don't give a shit how successful you are.
See, I quite like bellends. Just the world's natural heels.
It's why we're friends.
Exactly.
It is why we're friends. Oh, with that in mind, I did have there is a link between this. So yesterday on my radio show, I did my what was that film?
Yes, I didn't. I still haven't heard it. I only listened to the second half.
I will give you the I'll give you the clues, and you have to guess the answer. Did you enjoy the interview, by the way?
What interview?
The interview I did with Tom Holland, and I'm gutted.
What interview, mate?
I'm gutted. No one heard the other half of it.
It's not an interview unless I hear by parts.
He actually gave away something about the next Spider-Man movie.
Did he? Did he really?
That he shouldn't have done, and I'm gutted that nobody could hear it.
Yeah,
absolutely gutted. I just didn't plug a fucking.
Definitely tell you've been working in wrestling a while now.
I didn't plug a microphone in. That's all it was. I turned it up this week.
But how did you make that error after last week? Like you had
because I turned
Tom
it up.
DeLonge on last week.
I know, but I physically turned it up.
Plus, surely you must have somebody there to make sure that these things, like, I just think that's an unprofessional setup by Beyond Radio.
No, it's not them. It's all voluntary led, mate. I produce my own shows. I'm there alone.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
You don't even have like a producer or anyone like the other side of the window.
No, I have self-produced my shows for 18 years. Which probably explains a lot.
Basically, you're unprofessional is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've known that.
Yet.
We've
Why
known
you're on
that for
here.
years.
We
so
don't
your
hire
three
professional
clues.
people. Yeah,
Your
so
three clues.
what was that film? Is basically so I'll let you describe it because it's your thing on your radio show.
Everyone, I always describe it as this. Everyone has friends that can't describe the plots of films correctly. So they'll be like watching Batman. They'll be like, "Oh, it's that fella with the suit and the ears," and that's all they'll say to him. That's what the feature is. I tell people 3 vague clues to a famous film. They have to guess what it is. It's not rocket science. It's simple.
So basically, the last 2 times I've listened, I've got it pretty much immediately, haven't I?
Yeah,
Like bang on first minute into the show, which is a
one, I'll be
surprise because
honest, is
sometimes
more
they can be
difficult.
really obscure.
Yeah, this one is more difficult.
I can imagine. Yeah, I was quite lucky because obviously the last one was Halloween, so I was like, it had to be something horror based, and I immediately just jumped in with Dawn of the Dead. So
yeah, and it was right. It was right. So your first clue, girl wants to get out of her brother's shadow. What do you reckon?
See, I'm not a movie buff either. I just kind of know. I know a lot of movies, but I'm not a movie buff. If you know what I mean.
It's a newer one. I'll give you that.
That I might struggle more then because I'm not good with modern films either. I haven't watched a lot of them.
Your second clue.
Keep going.
She would have got a lot further if it hadn't have been for a boy. You might not have watched it. It's not a massive blockbuster.
Oh, okay.
It's a smaller film, but it's still very big.
How old is the film?
2019, 2020.
Oh, yeah. No, I might be in serious trouble. What's the third clue?
I'm not sure why she cried at a pine cone.
Oh.
Have you got it in your head?
It's not Where the Crawdads Sing, is it?
No.
No idea.
So my mum messaged and asked if it was Supergirl, which you can see where the kind of links go.
Yeah. That's a TV series, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But weirdly, she was kind of close. Because if you go deeper into it, you can see kind of where she's going. So who in theory would be Supergirl's older brother?
Superman.
Even though it's not cousins, but Superman. Who currently plays Superman?
Henry Cavill.
What film has he been in recently where he's played someone's older brother?
I have no idea.
Enola Holmes.
No idea. No clue what that is.
There we go. It's on Netflix. It's a good film. Millie Bobby Brown plays Enola Holmes, who is Sherlock Holmes's young sister.
Oh yeah, I saw an advert for that the other day, but no clue.
Second one has just come out this week. The first one was brilliant. Such a good film.
Oh yeah, I saw there was a little advert and people were sitting down basically asking for is your brother here or something. They weren't taking her seriously as if she was like a secretary or something.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There you go. I wonder if anyone got it.
Let us know if you did.
Yeah, and don't fucking lie because we'll know.
Yeah. silentdeathmachine@gmail.com. Let us know. You can't.
Yes. Yeah, because if you don't send the questions to the email, they won't get read out.
Which we found out.
Yes.
Which we found out.
If you can't fucking read, that's your fucking problem, not mine.
Tanvir.
Ebenezer. Gimp.
Set of bastards.
Pair of bell ends, mate, I tell you.
With that in mind, we have got an email.
Have we? Do we do the emails now? Do we do them later?
It's up to you.
Yeah, we can do them now. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
one.
we'll
It's
do the
one
first bit
email.
now. We'll do the first bit now, and then we'll do the second bit later.
Why is there two?
Why the fuck not? First bit, what event in your lives has shaped you most as a person, and how did it do so? So
Fucking
what
hell.
shaped you as a person, mate?
I mean, yeah, that's the problem with me is that I've lived quite a hefty life of trauma. It's
Mm.
just picking one thing, like, you know. Um, do you know?
I do, and it's something I've said about on the podcast before. It's not something of trauma; it's something of my own stupidity doing well for me. Being the 17-year-old who messaged Real Big Fish and asked if I could interview them, and they said yes. Me being that idiot led me to a life that I hadn't really, I'd never thought I'd have been able to do.
I think for me, it's starting the WrestlePlug podcast.
Mhm.
For a more positive note, there's been a lot of very traumatic and very dark moments in my life. But when I started the WrestlePlug, that was what, 5.5 years ago, March 2017. And at the time, I'd just broken up with my ex. Nasty, not a nasty relationship, but where she was a bit younger than me as well, like a little bit more immature. It just didn't end well. And it was a disappointment for me. And it was a very heartbreaking time for me because I'd been with her for 3.5 years or so. So I was very lost. I was at Raw Mail at the time as a postman, had no direction, hated my job, hated my life, didn't really have any strong friends in my life at that point, or I had isolated people from me more so. And when I started doing that podcast, the podcast itself, you know, like it's because it's a chain of reactions. Because I started the podcast for several months, it was just a thing. Then we sort of, you know, I was brave enough to ask a wrestler to come on. You know, I had Chuck Mambo on and TK Cooper and a few others, like at the sort of, you know, beginning of the podcast run when I started doing podcasts. Then I started going to shows and making friends with people like Nick and Tanvir and Ian and Alex, and, you know, met this kind of wonderful, and they're all in the WrestlePlug group chat now, which is great. And then that kept snowballing and it kept snowballing. And then eventually I picked up a camera, you know, before that, I started going to training. I started wrestling training on a whim because I did an interview with Rishi Ghosh. And then I stuck at that for a while. And then I made a debut in wrestling, which was like my ultimate dream, was to be a wrestler. And then I did a few wrestling shows. And then I found that I was really good at the media side of things. Then I started doing the graphic, and it just kept going and going and going until you get to this point now where I'm lead play-by-play commentator for a wrestling promotion. I'm videographer for, you know, over 10 promotions now. I've wrestled in 5 or 6 different promotions. I do graphic design for probably 50 or more plus clientele, including some of the high-end wrestlers. You know, I've made a t-shirt design, for instance, for the Impact Wrestling World Champion. And yeah, now it's that thing where in the last 2 years, especially, it's snowballed wildly. And what I love about it is that even though I've done so much and people can be like, cool, you can actually, you know, lay your hat on that. And, you know, I left my job and I left my career and I was homeless because of it. And then I wasn't homeless. And then I just, you know, I'm not affluent by any means, but I'm relatively comfortable at this point. And I have, you know, multiple jobs and multiple work. And every day I can wake up and there's something to do. And then I get to meet you at Colosseum and I get to do this podcast. And what I look at it as is a tree that continues to grow and it creates more and more branches, and each branch has a different opportunity, a different form of creation for me to get involved in, whether that be, you know, so in the last calendar year, from basically November 2022 all the way back to November 2021, I have made my debut as a videographer, which is amazing. I think I've only been doing that for a year, and now you look where I am now. I've refereed, I've wrestled, I've emceed, and I've commentated. So those are like the 5, and that's where I get the 5-tool player thing from. Of all of a sudden, you know, I've gone from doing very little in the wrestling business other than training and wrestling and doing a podcast to all of a sudden doing everything in the wrestling business, getting to work with some of the best people. I now have this long list of people from Nadia Sapphire to Shah Samuels to Ashton Smith, Saxon Huxley, Leonardo Darwin, Chuck Mambo, TK Cooper, Danny Black, Joe Lando. These are all people I've worked with professionally or personally or built some form of relationship or working relationship with. Some of them are really close friends. And it's that thing of like going from being essentially a fucking nobody to accepting. I think I realized it on Saturday at Colosseum. And it'll continue, the realization will continue. I looked around the room, and for about 5 minutes, I felt like a massive imposter. I had the imposter syndrome, which I always do anyway. Because you're in a room, like you saw the cards. Scott Smithson's in there, Claudia Bradstone, Ronnie Knox is in there, Karama, Ashton Smith, Saxon Huxley, Shot Simons. The list goes on. The 8-7, Roy Johnson, Alexander Roth, and I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck are you doing here? What are you doing in here? And then by the end of it, and with the amount of love I got from some of the best technical minds in our game and videographers like Troy Grant and people of that nature, and also some of the great wrestlers in our game, all with great things to say, it reminded me that I've earned my place. I haven't just fallen into it. I've had to work astonishingly hard, and I belong. And that's a really nice feeling to actually be able to say, I fucking belong in this room. I haven't somehow blagged my way in or made some sort of deal where, oh, I'll wrestle for you if you wrestle for me or any shit like that. I've literally just worked and worked and worked. I've never begged for a booking. I've never asked really for any bookings. I'm very, very strong-minded like that. I want to know that if I'm working somewhere, it's because I was fucking asked to, because I'm one of the best at it. And that's something that I'm very proud of. So... yeah, the podcast, because it snowballed into so many different creative outlets, and I'm finally an artist where I used to be somebody who just craved being an artist but wasn't willing to put pen to paper.
It's good. It's a good answer. I mean, even though you mentioned the traumatic things in your life, they've not really shaped you. Well, they've shaped you in a way, but who you are as a person, you're a hell of a lot more than that.
I'm not interested in being victimized either. Like,
no,
there's a lot of things that have happened to me that people would carry for the rest of their lives, and PTSD and stuff. And there's no one's saying that's a bad thing. But for me, I never wanted to be defined by a person who was sexually assaulted, person who was physically abused, person who was domestically abused, whatever those things might be. And I've gone through all of those things. For me, it was more important that I was defined for what I was achieving as opposed to what had been done to me. Like, I don't ever want to be that person, and I never wake up and I don't want people to feel sorry for me, because I don't feel sorry for me. So why should anyone else? Why should you feel sorry for me? You should admire me, because I work very fucking hard at what I do, and I'm also very good at what I do.
Good way to think about it. Very good way to think about it.
It's good to have self-worth. It's nice to be able to say, like, I have self-worth, I have self-esteem.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't give a if people message me and they're like, hey, can you do this for free? I'm like, no, because my stuff is actually worth stuff. Now fuck off and go and find somebody who wants to do it for free, because that's why your stuff looks crap. Fine by me. Might offend some people, don't care. I know my worth. I'm not going to sacrifice my ability to pay my rent just so I can get a exposure off of somebody. That's not happening.
I fucking wish I had self-esteem.
You do. You just don't know where it is.
I genuinely don't.
That's the difference. I think we all have self-esteem. It's just that we don't have lives necessarily that are conducive to understanding that we have it.
I don't have self-esteem. I have a lack of self-awareness. A lot of people say, oh, you must have a lot of confidence and stuff like that to be able to go on stage and do it. No, I just have a lack of self-awareness when it comes to things like that. It doesn't connect with me that is something I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, but you should be doing it. That's the thing. When you say I shouldn't be doing it, that's bullshit. Of course you.
No. But what I mean is, it's not a natural thing. What we do is not natural. No one should be the center of attention. No one should stand in the middle of a ring and just blurt out shit that they think of because they thought it might be funny.
Why not?
No one should do that. It's a really weird, obscure thing that we do.
Why shouldn't they?
Because it's not natural.
So, who says it's not natural? See, this is something that really sort of, drives me, is when people say you shouldn't do that. Why not? I want answers as to why not.
It's not a you shouldn't do it because you shouldn't do it. What I'm talking about is it's not a normal, in inverted commas.
Yeah, but normally it's like the most boring fucking thing on earth.
Oh yeah, no, massively so, and that's the
Wrestling wouldn't
reason why we
exist
do it.
if we only believed in normal.
Yeah, but that's the reason why we do
Creativity
it.
wouldn't exist. What's normal? Define normal. You know, these again, we're back on those labels that we were talking about a few episodes ago. Like,
Hmm.
societally, it's not, you know, acceptable for me to sit here and do this podcast. It's not necessarily acceptable for me to speak the way I do, or swear like a trooper, or have such, you know, divisive opinions on the wrestle plug. I fucking don't care.
Hmm.
I'd rather be homeless and my own person. Like that's, and obviously that's easier for me to say because I don't have kids, I don't have a wife, I don't have
Hmm.
to worry about anything really other than myself.
I mean, I don't have a wife.
Hey, what do you say, Smarts?
I said I don't have a wife.
What's fucking? I mean, you're my wife technically, I suppose.
It's true.
Yeah, you're
It's
definitely
very
the
true.
bomb. Definitely the bomb.
But no, what I mean is, it. Not everyone goes into it. Not everyone has that thing. It's not a natural state for people to be in. It's not a bad thing. It's not, something that should never happen. It's just something that isn't along the normal lines of life. But my self-awareness doesn't take any notice of that. I don't have that thing of, there's no reason for me to be up here. It's, I want to be up here. It's not a confidence thing. Far from it. It's just I don't see the reason why I shouldn't.
You create your
So
own norms. I think that's the
yeah.
most important thing. So for me, I it's not even a case of I don't want to have a norm. Obviously, I don't. I don't want to do a 9 to 5. I don't want to work for somebody else. I
Hmm.
don't want to work in a bullshit corporation. I did that for 17 years. It fucking sucks. Don't want to be a completely mindless, numbed pawn that is just told what to do every day.
Hmm.
But I've pushed myself so far the other way now that to me, the norm is turning up in a room full of men in spandex and women in tight fucking lingerie-esque, you know, spandex. Like, this is just
And you
ridiculous.
do really, really well with both of those things and not having a visible boner.
I mean, I mean, that's probably not really acceptable, is it? To be honest, walking around with a boner at a wrestling show.
I mean, as long as you
Um,
tape it down, it's fine.
yeah, you'd be amazed actually how many wrestlers do have boners from adrenaline and things like that, actually. But that's another
Oh, I can
story.
imagine.
Steroids
I
as
can imagine.
well.
There is a
Um,
wrestler that I've seen in the past few shows that I've been to where he didn't have a boner, but dude was throwing cock. It was visible.
I think he's just gifted.
And I'm just like, fucking dude, that is impressive. Again, it goes back to not being, because he's a nice bloke as well. There's no jealousy there of like, oh, you have, you're successful, damn you. Like, dude, you have a big cock. Well done.
Yeah, for me, what's the norm? And then whenever I get too comfortable in the norm, I then try and change that norm to something else. So I'm
Hmm.
never comfortable, and I like not being comfortable. I used to think that was some sort of issue for me, that I needed to be more comfortable, that I needed to be, I have friends who always say to me, I need more routine. You need to sleep at a normal time. You need to do this. And the more they say that, the less infused I am by listening to them. Because for me, routine is fucking boring. Routine is the norm. Like, cool, if you need to be in a routine because you got kids and a family and stuff, not a fucking issue. That's absolutely fine. Don't tell me I need a routine though. Why do I
You
need a
need,
routine?
you need
I'll decide.
something. You need something for your health.
Yeah, but my
Speaking of
health's not horrific. Like, it's not great, but it's not horrific.
No, but speaking from a mental health side of it, getting to sleep at a good time. I've got a friend of mine who refuses to sleep at normal times. And I keep on telling her, fucking sleep at normal times because you will feel healthier. You will feel brighter. And she finally had a good night's sleep the other day because she went to bed at a decent time, woke up at a decent time, and felt refreshed. And I said, why do you look high? Because she did, because everything about her was bright. She felt a lot happier mentally than she did otherwise. Having a normal routine, like a normal 9 to 5 job, yeah, it's not for everyone. When someone says go to fucking sleep at a decent time, go to sleep at a decent fucking time, you bellend.
Nah, bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
You need to get enough sleep.
Yeah, but you can get enough sleep going to sleep at any time.
Are you getting enough sleep though?
Well, I mean, I
And
went to bed at 10 this morning and woke up at about 5 p.m. That's 7 hours.
yeah, but sleep during the daytime is fucking awful. I
Yeah,
know
but
that well enough.
for you, maybe, yeah, not for me.
I used to work nights. I worked nights for about 3
I
years.
love the night. I love it. I'm so productive at night. I reject this principle that you have to go to bed at 10 or 11 at night to be somewhat functional. I don't think that's true. I think
I
that's
think
a load of bollocks.
as long as you're getting enough rest and as long as you feel like you've got enough rest.
I can go to the gym at 2 in the morning. I can stay up and watch the wrestling and then do reviews of it. I've edited multiple shows and made incredible logos at night. I can't do that during the day. That's another thing. Like if I sort of, yeah, it's nice sometimes waking up at 7 or 8 in the morning and having a fry up. And, like I used to love waking up early on a Sunday morning, putting on Match of the Day, the replay, and, having breakfast and then, whatever's going on for the rest of the day. But my productivity, especially in the last 2 years, has been very conducive to being awake at stranger. And also I live on American time anyway because I love basketball, I love American football and things of that nature. I find that all the best things in my life, the things that I enjoy most, they tend to be going on from the evening onwards until the early hours of the morning.
As
And I
long as
don't
it's
even go
working for you,
clubbing.
mate.
I don't
And
even go
you,
clubbing.
as long as it's working for you and you're not making yourself ill.
Well, I mean, if I die early, like that doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. Like, I'd rather die at 45, 50 and have had an incredible, productive, exciting time living. If somebody says, oh, he died young because he made himself ill because he never slept at a normal time. Well, then so fucking be it. Because I'd rather live an incredible life for 10 years than live a mundane, boring routine for 40. Like, it's just not of interest to me whatsoever. And to be honest, I don't want to get
Fair
that
enough.
old anyway, because I know I'm just going to shit the bed and have Alzheimer's anyway and dementia. So I would
Well,
rather
you
just,
do the first one anyway,
yeah, exactly.
you know,
Exactly. I just don't put it on TikTok like a lot of
and
people do.
that's just for fun.
Exactly. Shit the bed.
Indeed. I've noticed that I do that.
What, shit the bed?
We have a really deep and meaningful conversation, and then I just try and undercut it with
That's fine.
something.
It's called bringing humor and lightness to a situation. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's very easy to kind of get bogged down in it. I think for me, it's a positive that I can stay up late and that I can be productive and stuff like that. But if you dwell on it for too long, regardless of how much of a positive it is, eventually what it can do is turn you the other way and you feel miserable about it because you're trying to convince yourself. I don't need to convince anyone, much less myself, that what I'm doing may not necessarily be the healthiest in some people's eyes, but works for me. And as long as it works for me, that's okay.
Perfect.
For me, the biggest issues I have in terms of not looking after myself are actually more dietary based and things like that. Not fucking eating properly or eating too much junk food or just having too much crap in my system, which is why I don't want to drink. I shouldn't really be vaping, but I do. It's because I don't want to smoke. And, we've all got vices. We've all got things we're doing which aren't good for us. We're all doing that.
I'm a perfect specimen.
He says drinking fucking lager and lime.
Yeah.
The drug. It's not good
You're a
for you.
drug.
I know.
I can't get off.
That's why I'm on Colosseum, baby. We missed
How
you at
was it?
Colosseum. We missed you.
I missed you guys as well. I got even got a
Jesse
message
misses
from
you as
Jesse as
well.
well.
Yeah, no, I went up to Jesse and I was like, oh, Silent Martin sends his love. She was like, how is he? He's all right. I love that guy. I was just like, he's not here. And that is the most disappointing thing.
I was gutted. I got a little message from her. It made me smile.
Yeah,
How was it? Tell us about it.
brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. This is the wrestling portion of the day. Yeah, no, it was just great. It was another chance to realize my dream. And was it perfect? No. Was it a big crowd? No. But I was in a locker room with Joseph Connors and Shah, and these might be names that are completely irrelevant to a lot of people listening, but these are the biggest names on the independent circuit. A lot of these guys have just come out of WWE. And some people might be like, what's WWE? Or, is that the old wrestling? Well, basically, WWE was Hulk Hogan territory and John Cena and things like that. These are guys who have worked in that same system. And now they're in front of me. We're all getting paid to work. And yeah, no, I loved the media aspect of it. Like when I arrived, there was very much kind of like the media guys are over here, the wrestlers are over here, and then there's like the wrestlers in the middle who are mingling with both. And I was like over with the media guys because they're my boys, isn't it? You know, I'm a videographer, I do photography and stuff like that. So I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, cool. And they're just fun guys as well, especially Troy Grant. Honestly, I cannot express how cool he is. He's
Troy's
just so
lovely.
much fun to be around.
Hmm.
So much fun to be around. And then, so it was live streamed as well. And being part of
Yes, it
that
was.
process for the very first time, being surrounded by these incredible, you know, you got a DJ to my left. I've got Jake Pugh, my commentary partner, who, by the way, was fantastic to work with. You got Jessie sat next to us, giggling away as we're making her pop. We're doing subtle little things to pop everyone at the desk. I'm dropping Wu-Tang references in, and Troy Grant's popping because he's a big fan of the rap game. You know, Andy Ward's helping with the stream while also obviously recording at ringside with BA Productions. It really was the best of the best all in one room. And being a part of that, knowing that you've worked with all those people is so cool. And that's what I took away from it. Didn't care about a payday, didn't care about working as such, cared about having the opportunity to expand myself. You know, you come away from a show like that thinking, I've just achieved something. I've just achieved a massive thing in my life. And not only that, I was the lead commentator, the lead play-by-play. I am the voice of Colosseum. Whenever people watch Colosseum, they will hear me before anything else. That's very, very, very cool. And I'd be lying if my ego didn't enjoy that to a certain degree. But knowing that I'm providing a voice that can help elevate so many people and bring up, you know, not everyone needs elevating. Charles Emmons, for instance, doesn't need elevating. Joseph Connors doesn't need elevating. But if I can help make certain wrestlers or just the product in general sound just that little bit better and entertain people at the same time, that's a gift. That's a skill that not everybody has the ability to do. Everyone thinks they can sit at a commentary table with a headset on, working with someone in conjunction, working with the sound guys, making sure you're checking your decibel meter and all that, while also having notes. You know, I've got an iPad in front of me with bullet points. You know, you have to do your research and things like that. It takes an astonishing amount of work. But when it all comes together and you get to that final product at the end, it's just like when you create a beautiful painting and then you look back, you stand back and you look at it and you think, beautiful. Like I've achieved something there, and then your endorphins come in and your mental health's better. And that's exactly how I feel after every show, but much more so Colosseum, because it's not something that I get to do as regularly. I should and would like to commentate every single week on top of everything else I'm doing. I'd like it to get to a point where I honestly can't breathe for work. And where I started, from maybe one videography gig a month to now, like, I think I've done 14 shows in the last 2 months, and that's not including all my commissions and all the podcast work that I do as well. That's just videography, commentary, and refereeing. So for me, it's like, oh, wow. Like, you know, like we're on our way, but there's still a lot more work to be done. But it's exciting because I know that I can continue doing what I'm doing, and it's working, and it's opening more doors, opening more opportunities for my life.
Yeah, that's good. Did it feel different being in a sports hall?
Yes, I didn't think the venue was as good. You know me, I speak very openly and candidly about wrestling. I liked the venue, but it was not a wrestling venue.
No.
And the lighting, it was very, if you've seen some of the stream, I'm sure you have.
I saw some of it, yeah.
Very bright, to the point. Like, now, I don't necessarily mind that. From a videography standpoint, it's much easier to record, so I'm sure the guys probably appreciate it. There's a lot more calibration of things that come with lower places. Like, for instance, I did Spotlight for Rumble recently, and that's like basically they darken the entire room and then harsh spotlights that, you know, glare on the ring. And sometimes that's not great either because you've got to recalibrate. You know, there's a million and one different things technically that need to be changed in wrestling or need to be sort of modified or worked upon or calibrated or organized or whatever fucking word you want to use. But yeah, bottom line is incredible venue, great facilities. But just not conducive to a good wrestling show. And obviously the fact that it was very, very scarce in terms of fans for a multitude of reasons that I don't really want to go into because I don't want to make it a political podcast. But, you know, there was foul play suggested in when it comes to postering and things of that nature. And yeah, but the fans who were there were amazing. They were vocal, they were loud, and the wrestlers went out there and all put on a great performance. So yeah, I love working for Colosseum. It's genuinely one of my favorite things I've ever done. You know, the first show I was able to tick off a lifelong dream. I was sat
Mm.
there at a commentary table. I got to make amazing friends like yourself and Tony Wright. Not to mention, I was working with the creme de la creme of professional wrestling, Doug Williams and Joel Redman and all these different guys. And then the second show was a further advancement of that theory, that feeling of working with great people, but working with new people, making new friends, and then also something different, and also trying, this time the recording of the commentary was done properly.
Yeah.
And, everyone's working towards it. I feel like Colosseum in a year or so could legitimately be one of the best wrestling promotions in Europe. But it comes down to how much graft and how much work's going on backstage. And right now, I feel like everyone's working as hard as they can. So,
Yeah.
as always, it's important that the entire team gets recognition. That's why I put those tweets and that up. It could be very easy to just be like, cool, that's another gig, on to the next one. But for me, I treat every single gig, whether it's refereeing, emceeing, doesn't matter what it is, I treat everyone like my last. Because for me, it's a massive blessing to be able to work on any show, not just the ones that may have higher talents.
Yeah.
If I did a camp show next week with a load of guys who have barely been trained and an MC nobody's heard of, I would still take that so seriously, but also enjoy every single modicum of it, because it's still, for me, a great privilege to be able to do that instead of wake up every day and go and deliver mail for a bunch of ingrates and miserable fuckers.
Yeah. It's when you were talking about imposter syndrome before, I was thinking a lot of it. So the second question, with all that in mind, the second question from Frankie was, what's one thing you do on a regular basis that you hate doing, but no one knows that you despise doing it? For me, it's that imposter syndrome, that feeling out of place. Fucking hate that I feel out of place in most places.
That's not
Did at
something that you're
Colosseum.
doing, though, is it?
Sorry?
Well, I mean, the question is, what's something that you hate doing that nobody realizes? Like, you're not really doing imposter syndrome, aren't you? That's just something you
No, but
feel.
what? Not just that. So like feeling out of place or being out of place. Some people don't think I'm
But you're good
being
at
out.
hiding
So
it.
I felt it very much at the first Colosseum show because I felt out of my depth. And I feel out of my depth in most professional situations like that because I'm very much of the like. I'm still genuinely curious as to whether Aubrey got the right man when he was trying to find people to do. Still wonder if I was the person he was after. And so in that, I have this huge fucking cloud on me going, right, you don't belong here. Try not to say anything. So when you mentioned the kind of media people over this side and the wrestlers over this side and the wrestlers in the middle who are mingling between both, I'm in the corner, sat pretending to do busy work just in case someone tries to talk to me and I make a fucking fool of myself.
We're going to start breaking into losing my religion then.
I'm tempted.
Should be.
I'm tempted. If only I had a mandolin.
Captain Corelli's one might be available.
References. But yeah, that's what I fucking do. And I loved every single person that I spoke to on that day. And most of them had no right to speak to me. Because again, I still see myself as the lowest of the low when it comes to shit like that. So having someone like Simon Miller or Doug Williams or, someone like yourself or Tony or fucking Ronnie Knox, Harley Hudson, all those people coming up to speak to me, Jesse coming up to speak to me and asking me how I was doing. I'm like, dude, you're better than this. Well, than talking to me.
Yeah,
Don't
but as soon
fucking
as
do
you have
that.
that attitude, all of a sudden you cease to be better.
Well, yeah, but I've always had that attitude. But when you talk about being
Everyone has
grateful,
value at what we do, and that's what the second show proved to me, was that
yeah.
I am a valuable working cog of this company, of this setup.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I still value what I do and I enjoy what I do and I'm glad I do what I do. When you talk about being grateful and for whatever show you do, that's my mindset. I'm grateful because people still ask me to do stuff, and I just, at that point, I don't want to let them down.
It's that part of your brain as well that feels useful. It's nice to feel
Yeah.
useful. It's nice to feel needed. It's nice to feel wanted. I have this pitch battle with some of my friends because I'm one of these people. I don't mind feeling needed. I like it when people message me, "Hey, Aaron, I need you," or "Hey, Aaron, can I speak to you?" or "Hey, Aaron, can you do this?" That's better than sitting there by yourself, not having a purpose, not having a need, not being wanted, not having a task or a chore or whatever it might be. That's the one routine that I do enjoy, the routine of being needed, having something to do, something that helps benefit other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you mean. What's one thing you do on a regular basis that you fucking hate?
Exercise. Don't enjoy exercise. Well, I mean, to be honest, that's not a daily thing anyway. Sometimes I'm just
Wanking isn't exercise.
You can say what you want, mate, but I've got, well, I would like to say I've got strong wrists, but they're quite sore at the moment. Not surprised, really.
It's my arms that are sore.
Well, I'm not surprised because you're yes, very good. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. It's small circumference for me. Bottom line is, oh man, I like that question. It's a good question because which is surprising that it came from Frankie because he normally does his dishwasher. He's lovely. Something that I do every single day or in life that I don't enjoy doing. I think it's working with clientele who clearly don't know what they want. That's definitely up there. I get very frustrated with people not answering the basic questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking winds me up. So I'll ask them what they need or what they want. It's not necessarily clientele either. I don't rant about it too much anymore, but the thing that really triggers me more than anything is when people waste my time. Because there's better things I could be doing. Even if it's something that is completely mundane, like playing Assassin's Creed, I'd rather do that than sit there trying to get an answer out of you because you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about or what you want. Like the amount of people who message you, "Hey, I would like this." Cool. How would you like it to look? Do you have a specific? Oh, I don't really know. Oh, and then they start faffing around, or you give them something and they'll want it tweaked and changed. Now that's fine. That's part of the game. But I think one of the most frustrating things that I do a lot is I work with clientele who want certain things. I make it for them, and then they want it to look different or they want it to look less than what it can be. And that can be really frustrating. I've made posters for companies before. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's their poster. So some people might say, well, suck it up, Buttercup, you're getting paid for it. And absolutely, I agree with that too. But I don't want to make basic, boring, tacky looking shit. I want to make good looking shit, cinematic style posters, cinematic style videos. And when someone says, yeah, knock it down a notch or make it more basic, it's very difficult not to be pissed off by that because it's that thing of like, so basically you want something less good than what I normally achieve. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think that you should want the very best. And ultimately, if you're paying for it, well, some people with the poster designs, some things baffle me as well. They'll ask for a poster design that's based on a theme, for instance, like Halloween or Christmas, and then complain that it's too Halloweeny or too Christmassy.
Yeah.
And you just think, what? Like, it's just okay, cool, fine, I'll change it because that's the job, and I try and be as professional as possible. But in the back of my mind, I am thinking, you're a bit of a bell end, or you're just fucking annoying me now. But I like the payday, so I shall soldier on for the benefit. Sometimes you have to put your pride aside and realize that even though you don't enjoy necessarily doing this specific task, or you want it to look a certain way, if they want it to look something else, even if that really winds you up, or it's not going to look nearly as good in your own eyes, it has to look good in their eyes, not yours. And that can be quite difficult when you're an artist, because the whole idea of being an artist, like, look at all the famous artists throughout the world and the history of time: Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo.
DiCaprio, mate, not Da Vinci.
Shut up.
Da Vinci was the actor.
Pardon?
Da Vinci was the actor.
He was the guy who drew the helicopter on it. So, it's those things, like all these famous artists, Vincent van Gogh, fuck yourself. Like, these are all people who they wanted their art they had to be revolutionary and they had to rebel, because if they didn't, they would have just done what everyone else wanted. The reason that great works of art are that is because they don't conform. The Last Supper, for instance, which I've seen in person, that's an astonishing piece of art because it's quite a dangerous, and it's a thought-provoking piece. So when you take an artist's work and then you sort of remove their creative inspiration behind it, it ceases, in my opinion, to be art. All of a sudden it becomes just a conformist piece. It doesn't really feel like true art. For me, is about true freedom of expression. And that's the difficult thing about creating art for other people. Some people don't want freedom of expression. Some people just want something bland and boring, and you have to suck it up.
It's fucking true. Very fucking true. Yeah,
Anything
people
else?
are cunts.
People are cunts. I mean,
People
I
are
wouldn't go
just
that
cunts.
far. Like, they do frustrate me. I wouldn't say they're cunts for wanting something different to what I envision. I think
No,
that's
but
fine.
just clientele. People don't know what they want. They'll come in, they'll ask you for something. You can give it to them and they won't want the thing they asked for. It's not just in artists, in an artist world. It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
People are cunts. The general public are bellends.
I think people create new ideas in their head once they have it, and they move the goalposts essentially.
Yeah.
When I was a postman, I worked very hard at that job. And when I had my own scheduled delivery plan, which wasn't always the case because fucking Royal Mail is just full of bullshit and doesn't actually believe in its own seniority. Fucking thing is bollocks. So even like after 16 years, I was still being chopped and changed around and moved off of my own delivery, which I had officially signed for and had a right to do. But I took real pride in the fact that I knew a lot of my customers' names. I knew where they wanted parcels left and things like that. And then Royal Mail, for instance, would change the game. Like they say, oh no, you can't leave it there. I was like, yeah, but the customer wants it. Yeah, it does matter. Our protocol is. I was like, yes, it fucking does matter. The bottom line is what the customer fucking wants, you cunt. And that's the biggest problem with Royal Mail. They don't give a shit what the customers want. They give a shit about their bottom line. They give a shit about what kind of margins they're working with, what kind of profits, how much work they can force upon their workers. Royal Mail is honestly one of the worst companies in the world. If the owners ever somehow this gets back to them, feel free to tag Royal Mail in it. Fuck you. Fuck your shitty company. Not the postman. They work fucking hard. The drivers, they work fucking hard. It's the people who run it. You're a bunch of cunts, is what you are. You're a nasty bunch of fucking money-grabbing, totalitarian, dictatorial cunts. They pieces of shit who foster the most abusive, racist, bullying-like environments in their own offices. And it just trickles down. And the people who get it worst are the people at the bottom, and they're the ones who work the hardest, the postmen and the drivers. Fuck yous. Fuck yous, mate. Fucking drives me mad.
So when are you when are you going to be Prime Minister?
Do you know, I used to get out of work all the time because I used to fucking rile people up. Eventually, I got so fed up because, do you know what? I was not, people look at me and think, oh, he's very strong. I don't think so, but I have strong-willed opinions. And I used to spend more often than not every other day in the toilets crying with abject misery, with rampant depression, bipolar disorder, just fucked, absolutely fucked every day. And it was getting worse and worse and worse. Waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning to do a job you hate will drive you mentally fucking insane, utterly insane. And it didn't matter how much sleep I had or how much sleep I didn't have. I still felt like I wanted to kill myself every day. And then it got to a point where I started rallying behind people. Don't fucking take this. Don't fucking take that. I'll go and sit in the office with you. You need a union rep, things like that. And I never ended up doing the union rep thing because the problem with that was that most union reps as well were just in it for themselves because they got the extra pay or whatever it might be. They weren't actually for the people. And yeah, no, I used to get this a lot, especially from mates at work. It's just like, you make a great politician. I was like, I wouldn't, because I'm not very good at being a politician. I'm not diplomatic in the slightest. If I think you're wrong, I just say that's fucking wrong. It should be done this way. I believe it's quite arrogant, but I believe more often than not that my way is the right way. And the reason I believe that is because everything that I've applied myself to, for instance, in wrestling and things like that, has produced incredible results. And then when I try, the thing is, right, I don't go out to people and say, you're shit, that's wrong. But I try and go out to them with this mentality of, you should have done it this way because it would have got better results, in my opinion. And a lot of people take offense to that because they don't like being told that they're wrong. This is the worst thing about our society now, is people can't handle being told that they're wrong. And I don't mind being told that I'm wrong, because for me, I demand it of myself that I'm better. So if somebody says to me, you've not done that correctly or you've not done that well enough, I like hearing that because it reminds my brain you need to be fucking better so that people can't question you. So for me, I push myself further. And I expect, because I have such a high standard myself, I expect that same standard in a working environment, especially with the people I work with. If I'm going to a wrestling show and you're paying me good money to create the best possible video, the best possible graphic design, the best possible commentary, I expect you to go out there and do your fucking job as best as you can. Because I can tell if you're half-assing it. I fucking hate people who half-ass shit. Look at this podcast, for instance. Look at everything that I do. It may not necessarily be everyone's cup of tea, but you can't deny that I'm doing everything possible to make sure that it's seen and looked at in the right light, with the right graphic design, with templates and things like that. How many fucking people put out podcasts or YouTube channels with just the bare basic shit? They don't even put a template on it. They just record their Zoom file as it looks now on our screens and then just chuck it on us. That'll do. That'll do. No, it won't fucking do. Make it look better. That's why nobody watches your shitty channel. Because if you don't care, why should they care?
It's true.
So, proof's in the pudding. And it's frustrating. You're not always going to be the best. There's always going to be people that have millions of subs or have better product or have better technology, whatever it might be. But what you can do is make the very best of what you do have. And if you're not doing that, then I don't respect you. I don't respect people who don't make the most of what they have. Because I made the most of nothing. And a lot of these people have a lot more than I do. And, it goes back again. Last week, we were talking about people who don't make time. That's fine if you don't want to make time, but don't fucking whinge about all your dreams then. Don't whinge that you have dreams. Like, if you don't want to make time, that's cool. But don't cry at me that you haven't achieved any of your dreams if you're not willing to make time for them. The amount of people who say to me, oh, I can't wait to start my own podcast. Well, fucking get on and do it then, instead of talking about it. And that applies to so many different things. And it's the same with me. Now, do I spend every week going on about how I wish I was muscular and had abs? No, because I know that I'm too fucking lazy to go down the gym, to not fucking, to basically starve myself the right way, to eat the right way. I know that I'm too fucking lazy to do that. That's a massive problem for me, and I should be better. But the difference is that I don't come on here every week and say, God, I fucking wish I was so much higher. Oh, I never get to pull anyone because I don't look good enough or whatever. Whose fault is that? That's mine. That's why I don't whinge about it. Because I've accepted that is my fucking responsibility and my problem. And that's responsibility is the key word there. My child is 11 years old and they did something violent that they saw in a video game that's clearly 18 plus that they shouldn't have been able to get hold of, but I bought for them anyway on their birthday, and it's the game maker's fault and it's the manufacturer's fault. No, it's your fault, you fucking moron. It was your responsibility in the first place to make sure that they didn't have access to that game. Oh, well, they were going to get access to it. No, stop fucking moving the goalpost to suit your argument. You had a choice whether to buy them that game or not. If they act out because of it, that's on you for buying it for them. If you give a fucking kid a sword, don't be surprised if he chops something off. That's just basic knowledge. And this is another reason why I fucking hate kids and I hate parents. Because they all think that their fucking kids are good as gold and could never possibly do anything wrong. And I've got a news flash for you. Most of you who have kids, your kids are shit or will be shit at some point. And you pretending that they're not, just because it's easier for you to live in, your fairy tale of Wonderland and sunshine and lollipops, that doesn't fucking suit me. And I'm not going to take responsibility for your shit parenting. So do fucking better.
That is a party political broadcast on behalf of the Death Machine.
Paid for by the WrestlePlug. As if we have any money, please. I just, what, I me, I don't pull my punches.
No, it's
that Costa argument again, isn't it? I'm sick and tired of going in a Costa to do my work, buying my vanilla latte, which, by the way, I earned by fucking working hard on the weekend and doing a video show, and then having to listen to your ugly little fucking reprobate kids who live in a council flat somewhere. And there's nothing wrong with living in a council flat, but that doesn't excuse you from being a decent, civilized human being. Also, stop fucking having kids, for fuck's sake, if that's the case. When someone comes in and got like 7 or 8 kids, really? What are you doing? What?
I fucking couldn't.
Discipline your fucking rats, mate. Discipline them. Frustrates the shit out of me.
I had to stop after 2. The people have more than 2 kids. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that?
Psychotics is what they are. They're
I love my kids. I love my kids to death. I would not change them for the world, but I would not have a third ever in my
I wouldn't
life.
have one. They're insufferable little pricks. They're insufferable. Yeah. My friend's just had twins. She is amazing. I love her so much. I always have done. I've always had a soft spot for her. And I'm really proud of her. And her twins look amazing. You know, they look like beautiful little children, bless them, and they're adorable. And she sends me these lovely photos of them asleep. And to be honest, I don't give a shit, but I tolerate that because it's her and I love her. But, you know, it's that thing of like, I know they're going to grow up to be fucking annoying. I know they are. You can't tell, but you're not allowed to tell. But don't you tell me how to parent my kids. I'll tell you what then. Parent them properly, you fat cunt. How about that? Yep. There's a fucking newsflash for you. If you don't want people telling you, if people are constantly coming up to you and telling you how to parent your kids, it's probably because you're not doing a good fucking job. Not because people are nasty. It's because your fucking snotty little rat bag is hanging off the end of the pastry fucking counter at Costa or Starbucks or fucking running around Asda going, I want more of that. Well, you can't have more than that because you have diabetes. Now shut the fuck up and sit in the trolley like a good little turnip, you fucking gimp. You're getting on my nerves. Honestly, I don't know how you people do it. Children are insufferable.
I just...
Insufferable.
I just try and bring them up to be decent human beings. But again, I'm not that person that lets my kids run around like we've mentioned it before. I don't let my kids run around like that.
Yeah, it's because you're a responsible adult, which is what, and no doubt your kids will grow up to be fucking great human beings because of that.
It's a fucking surprise that I am a responsible adult.
Exactly, because you're not responsible, but it is what
it
is.
I should never, again, I've said this before, I should never be the person in a room who's responsible and that makes sense.
Your penis should only be ejaculating into my arsehole. It should not be fucking spousing more children. Not that it can anymore anyway.
It can't anymore. I had a thought the other day.
Isn't me, daddy?
I had a thought the other day. Firstly, can we stop with the daddy and mummy bit? Not us, but I mean in general.
I was going to say, why take the fun out of our relationship?
No. As a species, can we fucking stop it?
What, calling each other like mummy and daddy in bed?
Yeah.
I've never called a woman mummy, but I've been called daddy a lot. But that's because I am Big Daddy Nicks.
No, but I can't.
I love it. But then I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it freaks me out.
Does it? You don't like it when a woman calls you daddy?
No.
I love it. Oh,
no.
Oh, yeah. I'm in charge now, baby. It's
no.
not about, but it's not about the maternal or the, parental.
No, I know, but it just for me, it sounds weird.
Do you know what? You're not the only one to say that. I think I've heard a stand-up, a fairly prominent one, say it in one of his sets about how, all of a sudden people, words like, oh, you're a dirty one, aren't you? Or you're naughty, stuff like that all of a sudden loses its sexual cadence once you have children, because all of a sudden these are words that you associate with the behavior of your children.
I think it's only those that I'm fucked with.
I mean, Frankie T's got 6 kids and he fucking calls me daddy all the time.
Frankie, what the fuck, mate? What the fuck?
He's a busy boy.
What? How do you have time to do the washing?
He doesn't. That's why he smells.
Fucking what, mate?
I was wondering how long this podcast would take, how many episodes it would take before we just started slagging off our mates instead.
Fucking how just get it cut off, bud. Just get it cut off. It'll be safer.
Or convert.
Well, you all do that, Can't get pregnant in the bum. Yeah. Simple as that.
There's something you could write on a t-shirt.
Yeah, can't get pregnant
in the bum.
But another thing, I don't get why there's a current culture of women dressing and putting on makeup to make them look like children/cartoon characters.
I'm not aware of this. What, you mean like anime characters or?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but most of those anime characters aren't children, are they? Or they're not meant to be.
No, they're meant to be.
Okay. I have seen TikToks where girls are like pretending to be like bratty kids and stuff like that. It's because that it's a sexual thing. They get off on the idea of being bratty kids and having daddy discipline them because they have daddy issues.
Well, yeah, not that much. But no, there's a...
I'm not hearing a problem, to be honest.
It's another TikTok thing I don't get. Why are people now just miming everything, whether it's...
My little sister does that. My little sister does that. She posts TikToks all the time. But no, I love her, and I think she's incredible. She is, for me, the most important person in my life. But
Fuck you.
Hey,
Fuck you.
just get in line, you little cunt.
Oh.
But the bottom line is, oh dear, don't make Daddy angry now. Bottom line is, I still
That gave me a weird boner.
right? What's the fucking point though? Like, I don't see the point in it. I'm just like, okay, and all their mates are commenting underneath, this is straight fire. I'm like, really not though, is it? Like,
No, it's not.
Just a fucking, and she listens to this as well, which is adorable because she's 15. So this is an 18 plus podcast. Go to bed.
Go to bed. You're a child.
Go to bed, you child. See, the thing is, I will never call her a child because she doesn't act like one, and I don't agree with treating, especially young, even though she is technically a child, I don't agree with treating them like one at that age. I just think that that's very counterproductive to their growth in society. I think it's very important that, because to me, she's not, a kid as such, even though she is. I see her as my little sister.
Mm-hmm.
So she's family, bottom line. And she's one of my best friends as well. Like, we have a really good time hanging out together. We have a laugh. We sit there and watch stupid YouTube shit. And we go and have a McFlurry at McDonald's, or we'll go for a walk and fucking go and, have dinner or whatever. And it's very cool. It's nice, because I never had a decent family upbringing. So for me, this is like almost new territory. It's like rediscovering having a family, which is cool. But yeah, no, some of this stuff, I don't get it. And maybe that's just where I'm getting old.
That's the thing. I'm just an old man. I don't get most of this shit.
I mean, I love TikTok. I think it's great. And you probably saw, like, I tried to make like a very brief little highlights video of what I did have from Colosseum and stuff like that, just because it's nice to kind of have that memory and share that with people that matter, and even strangers. If a stranger watches that and thinks, that's really cool, I should do something like that. I should make more of myself. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I like that side of it. I like.
That's the strength of social media.
Yeah.
It's when people just put up random shit that doesn't make it, and we're all guilty of it. We've all done it. But I don't get it sometimes. I just think, okay, at least if you're dancing, you're displaying some form of skill or talent. If you're literally just sitting there going, hey,
even then, it's the same fucking dance over and over again, and like,
yeah, but if it's Jeanette Mamrara, mate, game over.
You've stopped traffic to do that stuff. You're inconveniencing the world because you want to have a 2-second thing of you going, fuck off, grow up.
Well, when we stop giving them large amounts of money because they get millions of followers from it, then I guess we can tell them to fuck off. But while that it serves a purpose, I'm a
bitter old man.
You are bitter, very bitter.
I'm allowed to be a bitter old man.
Yeah, I've launched into this rant about how I hate kids. Now you're just going after the slightly older but still younger demographic.
I think the thing is because
teenagers, get off my lawn.
I have worked 18 years to make something of myself in entertainment, and I'm still nowhere. And yet someone can go, and that's apparently fucking worthy of getting millions of dollars.
Put that on there.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
What song do you want dubbed over?
I don't give a shit.
Oh, you're so angry today.
Do the fucking Birdie song. I don't give a shit.
Do the Birdie song.
But no, there was a thing I genuinely thought about you after a wank, because I thought it was something to chat to you about.
What, having a wank?
No, it's the after having a wank.
What, the post-nut clarity?
Is it just me, or is it horny as fuck, as soon as you finish your wank, no horn whatsoever? Like, the thought of sex makes you physically sick.
It doesn't make me physically sick. I guess it depends. If I'm having a wank, yeah. If I'm having sex with somebody, then there's been quite a few times where I'm like, just fucking straight in again. But I guess it depends. I
mean, it's been 3 years. I don't know what sex is like anymore, but yeah.
It's very fleeting for me at this point, it has to be said. Which is very disappointing.
But yeah, I genuinely had a thought the other day,
I think do you know what it is? It's the post-nut clarity.
As I like to think.
For me, it's that post-nut clarity that everyone talks about, which is actually true. There's so many times where I thought it's a good idea to have sex or it's a good idea to have a wank, and then afterwards just thought, that wasn't sensible at all. I should not have done that.
Yeah.
You always have clarity afterwards, because there is that honestly, I can't remember whose stand-up it is, but they talk about it. I think it's Dara O'Brien actually talks about there's a 10 to 15 second gap after you nut where women can ask you anything and they will get the absolute truth, because that is the only moment of time where a man has true clarity in their mind. And it does feel that way sometimes. It does. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's almost mechanical for me at this point. I kind of know that there's a certain degree of need to release, so I get it out of the way and then I get back to my work.
But yeah, I did it the other
Jobs
day.
are good. Next, please.
I did it the other day, and the end happened, and I just thought, why did I just do that? Suddenly that all of it's like literally that emptied horn.
I think honestly sometimes like this is going to put me, like, anyone who watches this is never going to have sex with me again, which is fine, I guess. But for me, like, I mean, fucking what's the difference? But for me, having a wank at this point almost feels like having a piss. You're just doing it because you kind of have to empty out, like, because otherwise it just gets uncomfortable if you leave it there for too long.
I've never had that. I've never had that thing of feeling uncomfortable if I've not done it in a while. I think for me, it's more sexual frustration more than anything else.
I'm frustrated that I'm not sexually appeasing to people. Like, I'm frustrated by that. Like, I feel like I'm not attractive to people, or not attractive enough to have sex with. Yeah, no, but like for me, it's that thing of like, I think I do believe that everyone deserves to be loved. Everyone deserves to be cherished or physically adored in some way. So for me, it's very difficult the longer it goes, where you think, what's wrong with me? And to be fair, it's a responsibility thing as well. Am I putting myself out there? Am I going to the right places where I can meet people? Am I talking to people in better social situations? Am I using dating apps or whatever it might be? But it's that frustration of knowing that I'm not sexually enticing to anybody, or at the moment at least. And that kind of, I think that's a self-esteem thing for all of us. We're just sitting there and think, like, all right, I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty sure I have loads of things to offer.
Yeah.
And it gets more frustrating when your friends tell you, oh, you're a good looking guy, you're handsome. Oh, look at you with your beard and your nice photos from the wrestling or whatever. Look at you being independent, being strong, being able to pay your rent, being able to look after yourself. These are all things that are supposedly desirable. Hey?
You're just there going, yes, now sit on my face.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
No, I get it. Fucking get it.
Do you know what? I feel wrestling's weird for me. So, like, the thing is, most women's wrestlers are beautiful, beautiful people, aren't they? Like, just like the men are. They're all the most beautiful souls because they have to look a certain way, or there's an expectation of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I just feel uncomfortable, especially going up to beautiful women. Especially if I is it wrong if a beautiful women's wrestler walks into the room and you think, wow, she's really beautiful, I really like her? You kind of have to suppress that because you're supposed to be a professional. I don't ever want to come across as not a professional. So I've gone completely the other way now, where like women's wrestlers will come up to me, like, I wouldn't even hug most of them. I'll just shake their hands. Nice to meet you. Very formal. But it's also that thing of, I don't want to push boundaries anyway, because women have to go through so much fucking shit at the hands of men as it is. So I'd rather not be associated with that demographic of fucking mongs who just abuse women's rights or their boundaries all the time. That's fucking disgusting to me. So I'd rather just shake their hand and be recognized as, I don't know, either a bit uptight or very sort of dismissive, because that's, for me, easier than ever having to damage any boundaries. I try and be as nice as possible. But you'll notice I never, ever hug
if someone came up for you wanting a hug, you wouldn't go, no.
That's what I was getting to. Like, I will always, if the woman comes over to hug me, fine, it's a hug. I will never initialize a hug with a woman unless I know them really well. Like Sky Smithson, I know that we're really close friends. I can just be like, come here, you. But like, for most people, like, I met Claudia Bradstone and she gave me a hug, and she's a wonderful woman, by the way, beautiful, very talented, awesome human being, really nice, really down to earth. But if she hadn't come over to me with her arm out to give me a hug, I was just like, it's nice to meet you. It's just awkward like that.
I'm exactly the same.
I'd rather be known as respectful but a bit awkward than disrespectful and a fucking sleazebag piece of shit. That's just not what I want to be.
Yep. No, exactly the fucking same.
I'd rather be bombastic and leery and, the gimmicked heel or whatever it might be within myself. As long as it doesn't affect anyone else, that's fine. That's the one thing I'm very proud of, is the fact that, yeah, I can say some very divisive things. Even on this podcast tonight, I've said things that are quite, aggressive or passionate or whatever it might be. But it doesn't affect anyone but me. That's the difference. When you allow your behavior to start affecting other people, you let it seep in, you treat it like it's almost like a disease. You watch these men, I've lost count of how many times a wrestler or a MC has come out to, oh, she's got a nice ass. And I'm like, I don't know, I wasn't looking, because I'm fucking here to do a job, grow up. And I know that people might say that sounds really woke, but for me, it's that thing of, I don't really want to do that anyway, and I don't have fucking time for it, because again, I'm too obsessed with being good at my job. But on the flip side of things, I would love it if I went to a show and a couple of female wrestlers were like, oh, that commentator's really hot, isn't it? Oh yeah, we should ask him out or something like that. That'd be great. It's not going to happen.
Oh, it'd be nice.
It would be lovely. It's not going to happen, but
you never know. Never say never, mate.
Difficult society though, isn't it? Because we live in a society now where it's very much, like, we're not sensitive. We've basically become pricks. Men have completely ruined the field. They have ruined the security and the anxieties of women by making it such an unsafe place to live. But then on the flip side, we still live in a society where it's kind of expected for the man to speak to the woman all the time or make a move. So, and that's a bad juxtaposition. Because if you're like us and you we genuinely think that we're nice guys, that we would, if we met somebody or fell in love with somebody, that we would cherish and protect them for all our lives and for all our time. And we would be the very best versions of ourselves for those people, especially myself. I feel like that's very difficult, because I now am in a culture where if I approach somebody, there is that fear that they might feel that I'm trying to push boundaries. It doesn't matter how respectful you are. Even if you go up to them and say, it's lovely to meet you, shake their hand, what's your name? My name is Aeron, would you like to grab a drink or something? Even then, I feel like that's too much of a boundary push, because you don't know what's wrong. You don't know what she might have suffered. She might have all kinds of PTSD or boundary issues. So it's a guessing game. And for a lot of people, it's better to just not bother than to risk guessing and getting it wrong.
I'm very much of that thought. I would much rather be alone than put someone else in a position where they are feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's the
I
same.
don't give a shit. And it made me think more when going on to dating sites and stuff like that. I'm now putting out things there that will attract people of a like-minded persuasion. And I'm now of the fact where I don't want to go out and search and kind of, peruse the meat market. I'd much rather have someone want to get to know me and then make the move, because then I don't feel uncomfortable and, awkward. They are willing and not doing it to, make things easier or to, get themselves out of a bad situation. Last thing that you want as a human being is to make someone else feel like they need to talk to you, or they need to be with you, or they need to have those advances set out. I'd just much rather have a wank.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I did get some good news.
What news?
Well, we're obviously big football fans, aren't we? You support Morecambe.
Well,
I support Lincoln. So, we're not big football fans, as we support football teams, but
we're losing.
We obviously don't like football, otherwise we support better football teams.
Yeah.
Have you seen the current scores in the League Cup third round?
Yeah, we're losing 2-0.
We're beating Bristol City 3-0.
Fucking hell.
Fourth round is upon us. Give me Arsenal away.
Or Chelsea. we're losing against MK Dons.
Yes, you are 2-0. It made me rather giddy actually when I heard the result. I was like, what?
It's what we do now. It's what Morecambe do now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lincoln just lost to Chippenham in the FA Cup first round on the weekend. And you're thinking, and all our fans are like, could it possibly get any worse? We're beating the championship side, Bristol City 3-0.
Yeah.
And we're away. So
I mean, touch wood, Morecambe will stay up this season.
I'll be touching more wood. I can't wait for the draw.
I will. I just want us to stay up this season.
I just don't even want to go to Morecambe away because it's just so fucking long. I just want to go.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, it's more a case of I want to come and see you, but like, yeah, no, I've just got to tie it in. Like, you know what it's like. Morecambe's not fun. I'm looking for my other vape. I can't find it. It's frustrating me.
It's not. It's kind of fun sometimes.
What, watching Morecambe?
Oh, what, watching Morecambe? Yeah, sometimes.
That's fair. I feel like I'm too brown for Morecambe.
No, there's a lot of brown.
Is there?
Yeah, we do have a lot of brown.
Okay, so you think I've?
We have a lot of racists, but we have a lot of brown.
We have a lot of racists and we have a lot of brown.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what you're saying is I would fit in then?
Yeah, you'll be fine.
So you're admitting
you're white, you're fine.
So you're admitting that I'm not white then. Thank you very much.
No, I just said you're white. You'll fit in very well.
I'm not though, am I? Let's be honest.
I'm browner than you are.
You will respect. You ain't browner than me, please. Maybe in the fucking shadows, hun.
No, I won't say that one.
Go on. Get it out of your system, you racist.
My ex thought I had a black cock.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's darker than the rest of my skin. No, it's just genuinely it's darker than the rest of my skin.
Oh, okay.
I've got a naturally brown.
Come on in. Let's have a look.
When the cameras are off, maybe.
Oh, you fucking melt. I'll show you yours if you show me mine.
I'd have to spend ages trying to get it out and, you know.
Uncoil it, yeah. It's like one of them fire hoses on glass.
Just find it.
Break here in case of emergency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm done. I'm fine. What else is on your mind?
Any other emails? Did you check it again?
Yeah, I've checked it again. We have none now. If you do want to email us, you can do, and you can talk to us. Do it anonymously, do it not anonymously. If you do want it anonymously put, please, can this be anonymous?
Just put, please, I don't know, just put anonymous in brackets.
Yeah. We're not going to take the piss. We're not going to, you know.
Oh, well.
We are unpleasant people and unpleasant human beings, but we do appreciate it.
What's this we? Like, why do I have to get lobbed in a bracket with you?
Because you're on this podcast?
Please. I run this fucking show.
Exactly.
I'm in charge.
This is your fault.
Exactly. It's always my fault.
Yeah, we're not going to take the piss. We may take the piss, but we're not going to be nasty. We're not going to.
No, like if you want advice, feel free, and we'll give you the most honest advice. If you have an opinion, if you have a question, doesn't matter. Like we'll read it out and we'll treat it with the same civility that we would treat anything else. Other than people's children and Costa, obviously.
Exactly. So if you do want to say something, silentdeathmachine@gmail.com and at S and DM pod.
Yeah, on Twitter.
Can't
be asked with an Instagram. No point. What's the point? We're not taking photos, so what's the fucking point?
No, you don't want to see this fucking face.
No.
Gurning at you.
Well, I mean, people can follow you on Instagram anyway.
They can. I occasionally tweet something other than I'm on air. It's not often, but I sometimes do it.
And he has interviews on his show.
I have very good interviews. Fuck you.
They're fucking awful.
They're great.
They're not though, are they? Because we can't hear one half of them.
They're very I've had two. I've had two with mistakes. They're very professional interviews. The interviewees liked them so much so that Tom Holland.
Well, so you say. We don't have any proof of that though, do we?
You've listened to the fucking interview.
What do you mean the interviewees?
Tom Holland turned up at my studio.
Did he?
Because Tom DeLonge told him to.
Really?
Yes.
Why did Tom DeLonge of all people tell Tom Holland to?
Because Tom DeLonge was
on the crossover there.
Tom DeLonge. I don't know what the fucking cross. I don't know who. I don't know who's in his
You're
phone
not
book.
doing your research, mate. You should be asking these guys this stuff.
I don't know who's in his phone
You're a
book.
proper journalist. You would ask them, wouldn't you?
Well,
What's
I'm
the
not a proper
relationship between
journalist,
you
am
and
I?
Tom DeLonge?
I'm talking to you every Tuesday. I'm not a fucking proper journalist, am I?
Well, apparently not. No,
But
trust
no,
me, it works. It works the other way too, hon.
right, what's the alternative? Is the alternative really that a grown 37-year-old father of two is sat in a studio by himself, talking to himself, pretending to have interviews and pretending that things go wrong?
That is the alternative, and some people might argue that that's exactly what's going on.
Then that's pathetic.
It is pretty pathetic, isn't
Anyone who
it? It
thinks
is.
that is humor or that is funny, it's just pathetic and it shouldn't fucking happen.
They should grow the fuck up.
They really fucking should.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a grown man.
Speaking of which, if anyone would like to hear Silent Mark every Monday evening, another Monday evening radio show on beyondradio.co.uk.
Indeed, you do.
7 till 9.
And do go and watch the WrestlePlug podcast on the old YouTubes, where I've been on watch-alongs.
Yes, those actually have. I believe those have started dropping, haven't they?
They've already dropped.
Yes, they have. Check them
All
out.
three have already dropped. I enjoyed them.
Frankie T enjoyed them. He loved the slap fight one.
Yeah, it was a good one, that one though.
Yeah.
Really
Tanvir's on next. He's on the next round of watch-alongs.
I watched the bloopers one again, the laugh you lose thing. I liked that. That still made me laugh. You know, the try not to laugh.
To gain some dislikes actually recently.
Say again?
Quite a few people disliked it. I noticed on the algorithm. So
really,
yeah,
fuck them.
Yes, fuck them. I don't care because it's it's still interaction, isn't it? They obviously watched it enough to hate it. So
very, very true.
Works for me. Yeah, you can't get sensitive about stuff like that. I don't care what they're going to do. Come around my house and get beaten up. Okay.
Yeah.
Crack
Fuck
on.
You.
Fuck you, Ethan.
Fuck you, Keith.
Fuck you, Brian. Brian, Keith, and Ethan. It's like the world's worst fucking hat trick, isn't it?
Get in touch with us. Talk to us.
Unless your name is one of the three that have just been mentioned. Go and die in a hole.
Fuck you. But yeah, you guys take care. Next week, we talk about how when I get an itchy penis, I have to lift up my trouser leg. And we will be convincing Aeron to use himself as a hand puppet and put his hand up his bum and do that.
Why can't you do it?
I've already done it.
You wish you had.
I have.
Please. These two are more animated than you are.
Well, that's why I don't move much. Because I've got both my hands here.
You need a hand up your ass to be more animated.
Yeah.
Okay. Get Frankie T to do it. He seems to like putting his object in everything.
All that next week.
Next week. All that next week. Frankie T uses Silent Mark as a hand puppet. And also Silent Mark talks to us. I don't know. I'm surprised. I don't know. More things I hate about your kids. Stop showing me photos of them, by the way. Nobody cares about your prize turnips.
Never shown you a photo of my kids.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the general public.
All right.
Don't fucking come up.
I will show you a photo of my kids in a bit.
And then I will drop kick you in the face.
Yay!
All this and more. Don't forget, email silentdeathmachine@gmail.com or S&DM on Twitter. Send it via a message. If you want it to be anonymous, let us know. But we'd love to hear your comments, your questions, your thoughts, and everything else in between. And don't forget, if you think this is fun, don't keep it to yourself. Don't be selfish. Go and tell your mates and get them to subscribe too.
Tell
they
people
can listen
about
to
it.
it on all decent audio platforms, and they can watch it on YouTube, and it's all free and always will be free.
There are people who comment on it on YouTube as well. So you fuckers who we know you're watching, we know you've tuned in, get fucking telling people about it.
Exactly. Get telling. Especially you, old potato heads. I know you're watching and enjoying it. Well, let all your fucking colleagues at work know.
Prick.
Yeah, prick. Fuck you, Brian.
It's an aggressive ending, wasn't it?
Well, we finished.
I'm guessing so.
Yeah. I don't know. Normally, is that it? Not have you finished?